Turn up your speakers and let them blow me from right there. You already heard about it. Get red jealous, feelings, y'all. So get the niggas, cause sometimes they pick up your phone and call. So real, talking about facts on the metaphysical. It's so deep, you gon' need a rest to make sure you stay afloat. So baby, don't you care what they say? Carry your face, it's the greatest in the day. It don't matter what you're doing, just save it. You can get back to it later. Later, later, later. You can catch some of this flavor, 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 flavor. Cause real recognize, real recognize, real recognize, real recognize, real recognize, Hey, yo, Shawn. Hey, listen, I told them one night, man. I appreciate that, man. That was real. Hey, real recognize real as a G-Law. Always be yourself, never be a fraud. Life is up and down, call it seesaw. Stay woke, triple alarm, ringing the alarm. French on the element, ready for pure chocolate, dip the vanilla. Caught up in the rain under your umbrella. Always rock the house from the roof to the cellar. That's why I gotta tune in. When you're on camera, I hope they zoom in. So many shows when you let the fools in. Out my mind, they get victims if you go cause real, recognize real. Always turn up something back and just chill. Ain't thinking about drama, ain't thinking about bills. Natural highs, no pills. See the minute, just shit. Real, recognize real. Real, recognize real. Real, recognize real. Real, recognize real.
Yes, real recognize real. Let them know, Lynette. Let them know.
Woo, real recognize real.
Welcome, y'all. Welcome back to the Real Recognize Real Talk radio show. I am your host, Franchella. Got my girl,
Lynette.
Hey.
Hey.
Yes, y'all.
Happy Tuesday.
Once again, what'd you say?
Happy Tuesday.
Yes, happy Tuesday. Once again, we have an awesome show lined up for y'all. We always bring y'all the best guests and the surrounding areas, as well as overseas. We've been having it all. So just come on in, people. Share. Give us your comments on the side. You know, I read your comments from now and sometimes during the show. And thank you. We missed you.
Yes, thank y'all for tuning in and commenting, because after the show, we get to go back and read what y'all talked about and how y'all engage. So this show is all about engagement. So if you have any questions for anybody if you have questions for us or anybody that is on the show, just type it in the chat.
Yes. And I see Frogg is sitting in the green room. We're gonna start this off right. We're gonna bring him up. Let's do this. And we'll give him his proper introduction with his bio.
Open my eyes up a little bit.
Hey, Frogg, how you doing?
Hey.
I'm blessed. Thank y'all for having me. Good to be here. Appreciate both of y'all. Thank you.
Welcome.
And I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to update the bio, but I'm thinking it's good enough for right now for y'all beautiful show, I guess.
It's okay. I'll shop it up anyway.
Right, exactly.
It's kind of old. It's kind of old, but we could talk about what I added to it since over the years.
That's right.
Yeah, that's why you're here. Let me give you a proper introduction. So Shawn Frogg Banks is the founder, president, and CEO of Phillywood 7, a nonprofit organization that provides violence prevention and intervention programs for youth in Philadelphia. Shawn is also a father, an actor, a model, an educator, an anti-violence activist, a promoter, a producer, a director, and he's from North Side. Hey. So he is also a believer in Christ, who has helped him change his life. And he also is blessed to work with a number of well-known artists in music and television. and he also receives accolades in major newspapers and networks for his work that he does in the community. Welcome, welcome to the Real Recognized Real Talk Radio Show.
Thank you for the beautiful introduction. Thank you kindly. Appreciate it. I did my homework on y'all show. Y'all ladies doing your thing. I'm proud. You know.
Thank you. You as well. We're proud of you. We did our homework on you too, so we're proud of you as well.
And I definitely don't just get on any show and any interviews, because you know how the internet is and how people is. So I try to surround myself, with positive situations at all times. So it's definitely a good show. So appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh yeah, thank you.
That's what it's all about. So we're not the type of program that bash or try to embarrass people and stuff like that for ratings. We actually use this as a platform for people to talk about the good things that they're doing, because in mainstream media you hear more about the bad stuff, you don't hear about the good stuff. So here on the Real Recognized Real Talk Radio Show, we shine a light on y'all.
That's what's up. And even with me, so either way y'all come with me, I'm good. Because even when I first got into business, even with the media, I was always controversial. So, they're going to dig up the past. This old drug dealer, he did this with the guns. He poisoned the community. And then when I did a film, I had I went on a tour, and this was a professor, some lady, she's about 70 years old, Caucasian lady. And she said, well, you probably just did that film for yourself and it don't mean nothing and X, Y, and Z. And we're going to get into it, but I really put my heart in it. The film was called Close to Death, and I really went to the streets around the country just to get some positive stories of people that almost died. And it wasn't even about me. So, my manager at the time was like, Frogg, you're going to have some people to say good, bad, ugly. And I looked at myself. I said, yeah, I was good, bad, and ugly. So anyway, people could come at me, man. I could just, got to answer it and let them know how this person used to did that, done it, and how I transferred. So I don't have no problems about digging deep controversy. I live negative, but one thing for me, I transfer all it to positive. So, and I like to use that. Yeah.
And our show is called Real Recognized Real, so we do keep it 100.
Okay.
And you can't really talk about the good things you're doing without talking about the past, because where you came from is the reason why you are where you are today. So you got to talk about that past, and you got to embrace that past, because God turned that around. You know what I'm saying? And you saw what you was doing. You could have took another avenue. So, but that's the blessing part of it, because it's so many out there that's on that path. And so they need to know that there is other ways and other directions that you can go, that it's not over. Your life is not gone because you did X, Y, Z. You can also change that and be a positive influence on the younger generation. So,
Exactly. And a lot of people don't get to that aha moment. So the fact that you did is awesome, because they usually don't get to that aha moment ever. Some people don't ever get there and wake up and say, you know what, this is not the life for me. I want to turn my life around and do something positive with my life. I want to change other people's lives who might want to go down the path that I was on, but let me redirect them to show them a better way. So I commend you, because it's not easy, especially I think for Black men. I don't just want to say it's just Black men in particular, but I know that the cards are not always dealt fairly to y'all, in my opinion.
No, you're exactly right. Because even when I wake up every day, thank God, for my grandmother and how she instilled God and Jesus at a young age in me. And as well as my dad, I was a product of two 16-year-old parents, and I was born in the gang war days in Philly. I was a 70 baby. So my dad was from one gang of the city, and my mom was from a different part of the gang of the city. And I just happened to be a product of that baby. And some of the old gang members used to watch over me, play ball with me. I really didn't know what they was doing, but I used to see them fight at night. I used to hear stories. I used to look out my window, see the cops. So I didn't realize what I was growing up under, because my dad wasn't really there. because he was 16. So my grandmother cushioned me. So she really instilled God and Jesus, and that stuck with me. So when I was doing negative things in the streets of Philly and around the country in different cities, I still was a praying drug dealer, if you can say. I really didn't want to do what I did. I was turning that money into giving back. I was putting family members through college. I was helping the old ladies pay the bills that was next door, because I really learned from my old school gangsters that was around me. Even though they was doing wrong, they made sure the community and the hood was good. So I really picked that aspect up. But I knew I was living a negative life when everybody was accepting the money and everything I was giving them, and whether it was material or whatever it may be. And the only person that didn't accept that money was my grandmother. So I knew at the time that money wasn't everything. All money ain't good money. And this lady could have used it at the time. So when I went to her house driving this brand new Cadillac, 21 years old, and I respected her so much, so I never came around her or brought anything negative to her house, even though I didn't live there. She heard about what I was doing. So I was embarrassed to even show my face. So when I did show my face, my ego that day, I'm going to take this money to my grandma. I know she's going to be happy. I get out the car, knock on the door, and I always had all access to my grandma's house. That was my house. So that's who raised me. So for her to open the door and peek through the crack, that made me feel like so small right there. And then when she asked me, what did I want? And I said, I had something for you. And she said, I want you and that money to get away from my house. Man, I got back in my car. This the lowest I ever felt in my whole life. I had over probably like 17,000 in my pocket, some more in my trunk. I had to go pick more money up. None of that meant nothing at the time. I felt empty driving. I didn't know what to do. I just didn't know who I was. I was a lost drug dealer. It was the most stressful time of my life. And that's the part that, right after that, I was thinking about committing suicide, but then I was fighting it because she always taught me that was the ultimate sin, because I just felt empty at the time. So, I thank God she instilled God in me. And, once I transform my life, get out the kidnapping situation, we'll get into that story.
I was going to ask you,
what
was the turning point that made you say, this is not the life for me? What was the turning
point? Frogg, before you answer that question, two things. One, I'm just making light of the situation because you said your dad was from one gang and your mom was from another gang. So y'all was instead of like West Side Story, y'all was North Side Story, I guess, right?
Yeah. And I didn't realize I was caught in the middle until as I was growing up.
You're right. You know the story, the West Side Story, where they was in love between the two gangs. But
if people start labeling me without even me wanting to be labeled.
Right.
I'm like, I ain't rocking with this. I know I'm good. No, you from Zulu. No, you're Pop from the Valley. We know you got the pass. I'm like, what fucking pass? What y'all talking about? I was a curly-haired young boy, just wanted to run ball. But when I smelt it and I got into it, then, I chose that lifestyle. But what part changed me?
From move to the, I don't know if there's a right or the left. There's a light behind you. There's a light behind you. And if you move over, it'll block it.
Okay. I could turn it off. Is that fine?
No, yeah, I just, you didn't have to move the camera. I just wanted you to move your body.
Okay.
So right where you at. That's perfect. Okay.
Yeah. No, and so what I was saying is that strong 5 years, because I was kind of going to school, and my dad was Muslim and my grandma was Christian, so he wanted me to take a shahada at 16. And I was caught between a hard rock and a plate because this man wasn't in my life every day. So I knew the Quran, I knew the discipline. He had 3 wives at a time. He was dropping me off at this one wife house. He was picking money up from this house. I really didn't know my pop was coming from. If anybody know, he was part of the first resurrection in the 70s. So it was a certain way these old heads moved in the city. They was well connected. They moved a certain type of way. Certain things he trained me was a militant. And when your dad tell you, son, it's a time to kill, not to kill, and just leave it like that and don't answer nothing behind it. I'm looking at this man like, what are you talking about? But I was impressed by him, by how he moved, how the respect he had. But I really didn't like him because he didn't spend no time with me. And I was building up this anger. So I decided not to take my shahada. and I stuck with God and my grandma and Jesus, who was there for me. So, and that always worked for me. So, as the stressful life of a drug dealer, and my pop showed me some positive things, but he showed me more negative and then positive. But we came and we reconnected, and I forgave him and my mom about anything, whether it's verbal abuse, mental abuse, whether they showed me negative things. Because what would I have done if I was a 16-year-old person? And, at the time, my mom got kicked out of Gratz High School because you couldn't be pregnant and go to school. So she probably resented me at the time, too. So I understand why she was telling me, and it's the first lady that told me, you ain't going to be shit, you curly-head motherfucker. And I'm supposed to be like, why are you talking to me like this? So my distrust of women came at a young age because it came from my mom. So, all the anger I took into the streets when I was committing violence, and it wasn't toward, and I can honestly say we didn't hurt no innocent people, and I had rules, told my workers don't sell to none of my friends' mom, don't sell to no pregnant women. I really had rules and morals, because I felt bad what I was doing, but, it was a certain way I was raised too. So as I was getting into these little quiet shootouts with certain other drug dealers, and, they looking for me, we looking for them. I'm dealing with crooked cops. I'm dealing with everybody in the city because we was on the one biggest block of the whole city, which sold all the syrup at the time. So all the big drug dealers that was drinking cough syrup back in the day, from South Philly, North Philly, Uptown, West Oak Lane, they all was coming through us, running, through us. So my mindset was different. I had drugs all over the place. I'm trying to protect myself. And then at a young age, I moved to King of Prussia with the first baby mom. So I'm living a stressful life, waking up at the middle of the night like I got a gun in my hand, sweating. She looking at me like something wrong with me, my kid's mom. I'm not really telling her what I'm into. We just living this fancy life in King of Prussia at a young age in the 90s. But I wasn't, but I wasn't happy, and I'm having dreams I was getting shot. And so I went to jail a couple of times. The cops was looking at me. So those was leading up into when I finally got kidnapped. So after getting out of, going to jail and the cops didn't show up for trial, I got 20 years, almost got shot in the head. A bullet skipped my head and my leg. They had set me up one time and the cop said, somebody was trying to assassinate you. And I was telling them, I just in the wrong place, the wrong time. Then just a couple car accidents and just everything just was leading up to me almost dying so many times. So when I finally got kidnapped March 27th, 1995, 4 ski mask men took me, rode me around, took me to this abandoned building, then in a hotel, took my money, my drugs. And the first thing that came to my mind was my little son at the time, because, after they took what they took, they duct taped me, put the pillow over my head. And one of the guys said, hurry up and kill this motherfucker. And they put the gun on my head. So the worst thing about death is embracing death, knowing that you're about to die, and then the trigger don't go off. So when the trigger didn't go off, we was in a hotel and they heard the vacuum cleaner would kind of, threw the whole incident off. So they was waiting in the room. They looked out the door a little bit. My mouth was duct taped. My hands was duct taped. They already had all my jewelry and guns. So once they left, they had me on the bed. I don't know how I got out that duct tape. Well, I know how. It was God. So once I got it out of there, I waited for like 5 minutes. Then I peeked out the door and there wasn't nobody there. No cleaning lady, nobody. So I'm like, what the? And this is the same thing we was doing to other drug dealers. So I had to eat that, as a street. I can't go back. But, once and the next day, a family member had picked me up, but they picked me up in the car. And in the back of the car, it was some gray duct tape. So that was a whole nother story. You know what I mean? So now I'm in the head is, damn, am I going to have to kill somebody in my family that I think, and I can't tell nobody that might do this, but then how can I live with my kids knowing that's they, family members? So the same way I got out the situation, I let it go. My cousin got a deal from Babyface maybe like a couple months earlier prior. And this was the same cousin that I was funding him to go to the studio while they was trying to make it. And I wasn't worrying about no money back. That was my family. He was struggling. He was trying to live his dream. I didn't want to worry about him getting a deal. Loans. Fast forward, he got a deal with Babyface. He heard what happened to me. He said, Frogg, come to LA for a week. And once I went out there for a week, he took me to three things before I was supposed to come home. The Awakeness Hell premiere, first time I ever been to a premiere. Whitney Houston sitting there, Wesley Snipes sitting there. Then they took me to the Nutty Professor premiere. They was on the soundtrack. I see everybody in that premiere, and then the Soul Train Music Awards. So once they was gonna take me to LAX, he said, "You ready to go home?" I said, "I'm not going home." He said, "Well, what you gonna do out here?" I said, "I'm not going to Philly. I just had to get away from this shit." I said, "I'll do you be our assistant. I'll be whatever. I'm a hustler." So I became As Yet, the group. They had the #1 hit song called Last Night. I became their assistant. So God just showed me, a long story short, he took me from the streets of Philadelphia all the way to Hollywood, and we could get into some more things I did out there. And that's how I came up with the name Phillywood. I'm from Philly and I was in Hollywood. But me and Babyface Tracy was his wife at the time, Edmonds, and we went through a contract dispute over the movie Soul Food. So that's why I came back home, and I did get a chance to spend a couple more years with my grandma before she passed. So everything worked out the way it worked. I'm blessed. Both companies are doing well. My entertainment company, but the nonprofit is my passion. I love these kids, and we could get into what I do with these kids and for the city and around the country. But that's a little bit about Frogg and Phillywood.
Tell us about what you do, because you're doing a lot of good things in the community, and also tell us about the film that you, if you can, is the film that you are writing. So one of these days we talked about doing a book together. So one of these days,
we will.
And also a film, maybe in 2025 or but
2024.
Okay.
We're gonna start it off. We're gonna make it happen, man.
All right. Mm-hmm. So tell us about what you do in the community, because my nonprofit and your nonprofit we both have gun violence intervention programs. So
definitely.
And Philadelphia is definitely needed. So tell us a little bit about what you do and how people can support what it is that you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, Phillywood 7 is the nonprofit organization, and at number 7, I got it from the number of completion in the Bible. God made the world in 7 days, and we could go on and on about the number 7 that's in the Bibles. And I just want to complete my kids that's in my program, the young adults, because we go all the way up to 25 and 30. Just complete them with life so they could be productive citizens, rather than getting their mindset right, making them have a skill or education. So, and Phillywood 7 is a triangle. Either we helping in the community, the schools, or the prisons. You're going to have to deal with these individuals somehow, some way. I don't care who you are, what you are. And we have each one of them individuals in our family, everybody. You know what I mean? Whether it's somebody incarcerated, been incarcerated, somebody living in the community, and somebody in the schools. So with the gun violence is, I know I'm an expert, and nobody couldn't have tell me that. I live that lifestyle. I was buying illegal guns when I was Zulu Nation in '93, before my friends all got indicted. Well, way back then, my old heads was the old Zulu. They had took a armored truck. They used to ride down American Street, Susquehanna, and Diamond back in the day, and they robbed the truck, and they had army ammunition in it. And I was a young guy then, and Arlen Specter, which became a senator at the time, gave Zulu their first clubhouse in 1968 or 70. And the clubhouse back then was to take guys out the gang and give them like a little pool table, a little place where they congregate and stuff like that. So I was infatuated with the ammunitions and the stuff they had, but they negotiated and gave it back. But even my drug dealer days, I was buying it from crooked individuals on the back blocks of North Philly. And I'm not talking about no little guns at the time and things of that nature. So I was really infatuated with just guns and things of that nature. So when I started I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Quick question. What do you think is the resolve to helping to either reduce, eliminate the plague of gun violence? Like, what do you think? Being in that world at one time, you kind of think with that mindset, or you used to. So this new generation, what advice would you give people, or what? I mean,
What I was going back when I was saying I was infatuated and the guns I was buying illegal off the streets, it starts from the top. I'm gonna keep it real. We didn't make no guns. When I was buying them guns, it came from another face. I'm gonna keep forward. It came from the government. I was buying guns from the government. That's just to fight other drug dealers. So it starts from the top. We live in America. America was built off of violence and built off of crime. And you can see with these wars, all our money, your tax money, my tax money, they would stop everything to fund anybody war. And they would sell trillions of dollars of ammunition to other people war. We make big money off of making guns in America. My thing is we can't really stop at the top because the NRA and everybody that's in the White House, they are part of all that. They don't care about these black kids or these kids dying in the streets. So what I do is with my program called Urban Life Skills 101, which I have in the schools and some of the high schools in the community, I tell a young buck, I don't care if there's a gun sitting in front of you. It's your mindset. When you pick that gun up, what you gonna do with it? Right. So the guns don't kill people. People kill people. So when I did the cover of the Close to Death soundtrack, I made a gun and I told all my design people, they put diamonds all on the guns. They made the gun look fancy because people idolize guns. So for you to idolize and have a mindset, and when I first did my first shooting or even shot, and it wasn't even at nobody, when I shot the gun, I felt a sense of power. So once I got that sense of power in my hand, and then I knew what I could do with the gun, but my mindset was different. These kids, either high, intoxicated killers, they don't respect the gun. Now they making guns off the internet. So now we fighting a double-edged sword with the devil, the government, so you got to be real, just like with my son. He's 16. He living with me. I'm a single dad. My oldest son was a little older, so he almost got caught in the lifestyle I was in. Thank God he's not. But my youngest son, by being with him every day as a dad, and me still trust him. Oh, I know what's in his room. I know what's in his book bag. I know who friends he hang with. And he a good student. He going for a scholarship. That don't mean I'ma still not trust what this teenage boy doing out here. Because the friends that he hang around, either the kids carrying guns because they scared. I don't blame them if I see my friend head get blew off and nobody helping me in school. My parent might look at me different. The kids I'm hanging with gonna pressure me, or even call me a sucker, or they gonna use a gun against me. So a lot of these kids are carrying guns that don't want to carry guns. So right now, I try to tell the system, we got to differentiate, all right, the real shooters, the real people's in each neighborhood. That's what the people on probation, parole. That's what the schools. You got to have everybody all linked because we know who these individuals are. Because you can understand when one individual would do something to a police officer, how many days it take a cop to catch that one person? Quick. They gonna get you. They gonna get you. So that tell you right there, they know who doing the shootings. They know if they might not know it.
But it's only quick for a different skin color. It ain't quick.
That's what I'm saying. So it's meant for us to die, and this is what I'm trying to tell my kids and our parents, that we losing this war and we know better. And the main thing, not y'all ladies, but all the older guys that's out there, whether with street guys and they so-called got an ego, or I did this in this hood, or I used to do that. I ask them now, what are you doing now to help clean it up? Don't say nothing about it. Or your uncles that's quietly in some of my family and other people's families, they encouraging these young boys to go do what they do. Because either they stuck in their ways or they feel this is my only source of money. So now I'm gonna hand these young boys a pack or a gun. And then I'm going to try to get this money quietly in the neighborhood. And some of these young guys look up to these guys, but we'll never know. And it goes on in every neighborhood. And these men to ride around with you or be in the neighborhood acting like they for the community, but these are the ones that's poisoning the community. And it's our people. And it's sad. And I'm only saying this because I'm starting to see it now. Because you can't fathom and figure out why this keep going on in my neighborhood. We can't be too scared of these babies with guns. They got to be scared because I know these young boys, when they come home, even with some of the guys in the street, even though they carry the guns and stuff, they give me enough respect at the time. Hey, Mr. Frogg, how you doing? They not pulling no gun out because they get that respect to me. So I know these kids do have somebody that they would look up to.
So I'm gonna send this article to you. This article was in the Winfield Overbrook edition, and January 21st, 1993. It was an article, and the article said the KKK thanks gangbangers for
I got that.
You got that?
I got that letter. I got that letter. Look, and when I was in jail in '93, they slid that under my cell in January. I still got it to the day.
Share the rest of the story for those that don't know. Share the rest of the
story. But basically,
okay,
you want me to share a little bit?
Go ahead. Yeah, you can share. I was going to read a little bit.
No, you read it, and I'm gonna share my perspective why I do what I do.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So it says the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, would like to take time to salute and congratulate all gangbangers for slander of over 4,000 Black people since 1975. You are doing a miraculous job. Keep killing each other for nothing. The streets are still not yours. And it says the N word. It is ours. You are killing each other for our property. You are killing what could be future Black doctors, lawyers, businessmen who we won't have to compete for jobs and good paying positions. And the good things about it is that you are killing the youth. So we won't have to worry about you N-words in generations to come. We would further like to thank all the judges who have sentenced those in the N-word to prison. We are winning again. Pretty soon we will be able to go back to raping your women because all your men will be gone. So you gangbangers, keep up the good work. We love to read about drive-by. I'm sorry, it's so fainted, but drive-by shootings. We love to hear how many of you get killed over the weekends. To all the gangbangers across the world, we don't love you N-words, but we can appreciate you gangbangers. You are doing a wonderful job in getting rid of the Black race. Without your men, your woman cannot reproduce unless, of course, we do it for them. Yeah. And we will be successfully eliminating a race thanks to your help and commitment to killing each other. If most of you gangbangers cannot read this letter, it is okay. Go pull a trigger and kill a nigga.
Kill another. Yep. And I got that.
That was nice. Yep, you got that.
That changed my whole perspective on everything that I do now. I even put that letter in the movie I did, Close to Death. I'm glad you read that letter. If no Black man don't get anything from that letter, something is wrong with him. Something is definitely wrong with him.
It needs to circulate again. That's what it needs to do.
Well, we're gonna put that out
to the reality of what they're actually doing.
Right.
And that's what Willie Lynch designed it for. And my thing is, if you don't train your mindset, and this is why, even with my program, I go from changing your mindset to helping you with a skill, and then we help you with trauma, then we help you with following up. So this is how all the successful boys in my programs don't go back to the streets, because we find out what they like to do first, and it become a passion. We talk about why they did what they had to do so they could clean and look themselves in the mirror. And then we ask them, okay, we're going to change the drugs and get you a job. All right. And then we're going to start dealing with follow-up classes with your mindset, because we don't need you taking no old trauma home in your relationships, whether your kids see it, whether your woman see it. So this is what Philly Wood 7 do. So my whole goal is to build a community center and safe houses, not just in this city, but around the country. So, I acquired some land from the land bank. It's been a fight for a Black man because they know what I want to do and they know what I want to build. because the system is all about detention. It's all about locking these kids up. And my program is about prevention. So if I could stop them from making that money crowd, then of course it's going to be like, Frog, you in the way. And I don't mind being in the way. I know God got me and they still can't help me. So that's why he put me in the schools, along with all the staff that's put me, the people that gave me that chance. But I don't take this for granted when these young boys come to school and they got ankle bracelets, or a young girl come to me and say they want to join these certain girls because they in a certain situation. Some of them mad, some of them angry. They all traumatized. They seeing people die. Same way it's a war. Right now we going through. These kids are going through war. I look at these kids in their eyes every day. And when I mean war, they're going through a psychological trauma, violence. The schools ain't schools no more. Their homes ain't homes no more. So I really put my feet and my shoes in these teenagers' head in their shoes. So once I put myself back in their shoes for real, even though I don't live like them no more, I asked God to give me the spirit so I could see what they see. So now we could go back and I could really break down their psyche a little bit. And that's how they connected me. And they be like, Mr. Frog, thank you, man. You understand. And I know that's a prayer that I get a gift. Yeah.
That's the key. First of all, I know your grandmother is super proud. She's super proud. And the thing about it is, I know you learned this as being a Christian, that even though we stray sometimes, we always find our way back home. We find our way back.
Yes.
So I commend you, Frog, for that, because you could have just got out of that life and just did your thing, not give back and not worry about the rest of the youth. You knew the path that you took. Of course, I heard you talk about your morals. What came to my head is like Scarface. He had morals. Even though you was doing the wrong thing, you still had morals. There's no morals anymore. There's no looking after each other anymore. It's a whole different ball game out there. And I think it also, besides our children being in the situations that they're in, it starts at home. I think there should also be programs for these parents to be parents, to check. Like
we have that, yeah.
Absolutely.
Checking those book bags, you know what I mean? Knowing where your kids at, who they're hanging with. Because those parents don't care and they out partying, they doing things that they shouldn't be doing. They don't care what their teenager is doing, So that's the sad part. So it's trickling down, So it's not just saving the young generation, but also
the parents.
The generation of
we had a parenting program in Camden a couple years ago, and at first we started it like on the Saturdays because I had a program over in one of the schools with the kids. So, but then I seen how one of the parents came to the principal office, and they just were just disrespectful, and the kid was just looking like felt so embarrassed, and I felt so bad about the kid because the kid really didn't do that much harm, where the mom had to come up there like that. I understand she came home, but it ain't like she left a job. She came on with a bonnet in her head. She was cussing in the principal office. So we can't have a functional meeting right now because now the kid is more parenting than the parent. So what we did was we started the parent program, and you got to draw some people in. We start feeding them. We start giving giveaways because it went from one parent to, oh, you ain't gonna tell me how to be a parent, or you ain't, and I can't tell because there's no book on it. But one thing I learned for sure, that I got better at it, and I could know what kids was looking at because I was one of them kids. So I try to boost that program and tell more parents right now. Of course, we the parents, but we got to listen to these kids a little bit more. And we not living in the times they living in. We didn't have no cell phones. We didn't have all this media. So we got to, listen to them as well as still being a parent is like an equal. And I try to tell most parents, don't bring your trauma onto your kid. The kids didn't ask to be here, So when I try to tell them, when I try to tell them that, they start to open a little bit more when I was telling them, you may be on the phone arguing with your boyfriend and your kid looking at you with his mouth open. So now they see in this argument mode, and mommy tell me don't do this at school, but now I'm seeing how she do it every day. So it could become confusing, or that kid could come up taking on those tendencies, as well as dads or whatever negative is in the house.
or they take
so I try to tell them we got to check ourselves before we keep doing bad parenting.
So we want people to know, because we have Dorian waiting in the green room. We want to bring him up. He's been patiently waiting. Thank you, Dorian, for waiting. But Frogg, tell people where they can find you
on social media and support.
And support everything that you're doing.
Well, we have a film on called Close to Death. It's on Gun Road. That's GUMROAD.com, and you could download Close to Death, and that's a movie about gun violence that I did over the years. Y'all can find us on Instagram, Phillywood7 on Instagram. That's my business page. You can see a lot of stuff that I do with the school district. I train the school safety officers. I have conflict resolution programs, anger management programs. Or you could contact me through my Frogg7 Instagram page. That's FROGG, the number 7. In Phillywood, it's PHILLY-WOOD, the number 7. And I'm going to give you my email. And y'all can also give it out too if they want to book or talk for events. That's at Frogg, FROGG, the number 7 at gmail.com. And the number is 267-746-9555. So those are the ways to get connected.
No excuses. He gave y'all everything.
Right?
I gave y'all everything. And listen, I gave y'all situations. I ain't even send y'all to my assistant on my team. That's me, just straight. All right.
Right. That's what's up. First of all, we tell everybody that come on a Real Recognized Real Talk radio show that we're family now. So this is not the last time that we're going to have these conversations. We're definitely going to invite you back on, because you're doing some excellent things, and there's going to be more things that you're doing and you want to promote. So please use our platform to do so.
Well, thank you. One more thing. We're doing a documentary right now. We're about to release 2 of them. I did with Stephen A. Smith, John Chaney, God rest his soul. It's a basketball documentary, but it's very positive, and a lot of players are going to the NBA or in the NBA now, and they was trained by this young man from Philly, uptown, named John Hardneck, and he gave me the go ahead to do the documentary. So we're gonna release that, and we were working on one called Bloody Tears in America. It's about trauma in the youth eyes right now, so we're working on that right now also. And I would love to, I would love to talk to y'all 2 ladies and get an interview about that. What y'all know about trauma and the kids and what y'all doing. So I would love to have y'all part of that.
Okay, we're gonna hold you to it.
Yep.
Yes. And please come into one of my programs and talk to these young ladies about what y'all doing. They need to see positive young ladies. Y'all doing a beautiful job. They need, and I like to surround the kids with good people so they can show our faces that we making it, and y'all can make it too. So I thank y'all, and I commend y'all many, 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 many blessings. Oh, and if anybody out there too, one last thing, if anybody having negative thoughts and we don't know who you is, sitting in the bedroom, sitting on your couch, sitting in your car, and a lot of stuff people don't talk about and they traumatized. If you're thinking about suicide, this shit is not worth it. This shit is not worth it. God is good all the time. We in trying times right now. People got problems with their bills. They losing loved ones. They going through a lot of emotional stuff. Just hold on. I've been there. You know what I mean? Just hold on. And y'all know y'all got people praying for y'all that don't even know about y'all. So, you know what I mean?
Listen, that's right. That's absolutely.
So I thank y'all.
And please don't be a stranger. We're going to contact you, and we want to talk to you again, because you just have so much information to give, and I think your experiences from where you came from, I mean, that's a story in itself, and the people need to hear that. So thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Anytime. And Real to Real, that's one of the bangest shows, baby. I'm going to push that shit all the way through.
That's real.
That's what I'm talking about. Right. Not fake. Real recognized real.
Real recognized real. You got it.
Y'all be safe, ladies. Y'all have a blessed one.
All right. Take care.
Put my glasses back on now.
All right. We got Dorian. We're going to bring Dorian up.
We got a lot of men doing great things on the show. So we're about to bring up another one, Mr. Dorian Harris, who is always out and about. But we thank you for your time. I'm gonna just give you a brief introduction, and I'm gonna zoom through it, and then we're gonna get right into it. So, Mr. Dorian Harris is a veteran, a father, a hardworking man who wears many hats. He is passionate about helping others, especially in the area of literacy. As a reading captain, educator, youth advocate, and mentor, he works with youth in many different capacities for the Net Community Service as well as the School District of Philadelphia. I don't know how he does it all, but he does it all. And I'm sure that I'm not the only person who is thankful for all that he does. So welcome, Dorian, to the Real Recognized Real Talk Radio Show. Thank you for your patience. As many of you know, we have awesome guests, and they come on to share what it is that they're doing. Dorian is out and about at an event right now, so we're going to keep it nice and sweet. How are you?
Well, good evening. How y'all doing?
Good. So talk a little bit about what you do and your work with the reading captains and your work with the school district and that community service.
Well, so good evening, everyone. My name is Dorian Harris. Yes, I work with the School District of Philadelphia, been there 17 years. I also work with Net Community Care, one of the community umbrella agencies under DHS, been there 7 years. Also a 21-year military veteran. I'm a reading captain, been a reading captain for 8 years. Also sit on the district attorney's advisory panel for youth. So for youth who committed their first felony, they have an option before going before a judge or coming before me in the panel. And we set up a 6-month diversion program. They can complete that and go arrest-free for the remaining part of the year. Then we're able to go before the judge and have that record thrown away. It's not a sealed record. It never happened. Because, these kids are 12 to 17. They know what they're doing, but they don't know the consequences that come behind them, right? So if you stick a felony charge to a 12 or 13-year-old, then, and that stayed with them, then they're going to deter to crime, right? Because there's nothing else that they're going to be able to do. So I looked at, I've been on this panel going on for 6 years now, and the youth that I had, the recidivism rate, I haven't had a youth that returned back to crime since. So I found out the program is really working. And the youth are going on to do better things. I've seen kids come out of the program, they graduated, they went through high school, they in college, and they reach out to me, hey, Mr. Doran, just checking in and let you know how I'm doing. I'm going back to school. They did 2 years of community college, now they're going for their bachelor's degree. And that's great, and that's powerful, especially, and that's powerful when you come from, from a young man that's been in trouble, because, once you get a felony, you can't get those kind of student loans. No colleges want to accept you, right?
How do they find out about programs like this? Because oftentimes people don't know what they don't know.
Okay. I'm sorry, say that again.
How do they find out about programs like the one that you're talking about?
Well, I mean, so programs like that like if a youth was to get arrested, it would come before them, depending on the series.
We want to see your face, not
we want to see your ear.
I'm sorry. I'm here at the Ethical Society, and I've got to get off here at 8:00 because I'm in a very important meeting. But I told them they have to excuse me for up until 8:00 because I was obligated to do this.
I appreciate your time.
Yeah. So so if a youth get arrested, that will come before them. Once they get to the district attorney's office, the DA would say,
do you
want this to go to court, or would you like this to go before a panel? So 80%, I'd say about 60% of the youth, they come before the panel. We just set up a diversion program for them for 3 to 6 months, and then they can complete that, and they go arrest-free. Then they're able to have that record thrown away, ripped up. Not a sealed record. Like sealed records, they can go back into that. This never ever happened. It's a second chance.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And what drove you to the passion that you have now with helping youth and helping people in general?
Well, as a single dad raising 7 children, I was always involved in their education. I've been there, and I got to see my daughters and even my son's friends, get kicked out of the house because the parents didn't want them in there, or they come into my house. I'd sit them down and have dinner, have a conversation with them. But at the same time, and I like how the young man just got off explaining to him about the parents, right? That if you don't have structure for these kids and these youth, they're going to go left. and that's just reality. If there's no home structure, then there's no family bond. All right. So,
Right.
my daughter said, "But Dad, Marquita got threw out. Can she come and stay now?" I said, "Yes, she can stay tonight, but I need to talk to Marquita's mom at the same time. If I got to go see Marquita's mom, say, listen, your daughter's over my house. She's willing, she's open to stay for a night or two, but Mom, I really need you to have this conversation with your daughter. I'm raising seven
Right.
kids. I'm going to do make sure that she's not on the street, but at the same time, and like I said, as the man just explained, we had to get to a point now where we have to rejuvenate the parents, right? And like I tell
Right.
parents all day, every day, we are a child's first teacher, leader, director, provider, teacher, mentor. We're number one. When they step out that door, everything else is secondary, right? So if you don't lay this down while these kids are growing up or while they youth, when my kids were, they all stair steps. When they was 18, I'd say, Scooter, where's your homework? Oh, Dad, I did it. Okay, you did it. Let me see it, Scooter.
That's right.
It got to the
That's
point where it became so consistent. Anytime you have 11, 10, a 9, 10, 11, 12 grader come to you, Dad, here's my homework. Can you check it? You know, that means as a
right.
parent, I'm doing what I have to do, but at the same time, as a youth, as a kid, they are doing what they have to do because it became consistent to them. They
Right.
know Dad is going to ask me every day, let me see your homework. Where it got to the point I didn't have to ask them no more. They just came to me, Dad, here's my homework.
It
Can you
becomes
check?
learned behavior once you set the foundation. But
Right.
like you
Right.
said, you have to have structure and you have to set the foundation. And
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
ooh,
Yes.
Absolutely,
so
absolutely. So where can they find you, Dorian? I know we want to get you ready for your meeting.
Yes, well, I'm on. I'm partnered with so many different organizations that I wouldn't even know who to give you, but I did give you my personal number, which I give my parents, which I give everybody, because I need to hear from you if you got a concern or if you need something that need to be addressed, or if you have a youth that just want to talk. I host a young man cave. I host a man cave for adult men. I host a young man cave for kids that are 12 to 17. Um, and just having those conversations. Because at the end of the day, yes, everybody's going through something.
right,
When COVID hit us, it hit everybody hard.
right,
So
Right.
everybody's going through something. So with a Hari for Homes, I work along with them with the recast resilience communities after stress and trauma, where I'm working right now. I got 10 youth, a group where I do positive things with them. Budgeting workshops, conflict resolution. Took them to the base motel, taking them to the Poconos for 3 days in December. Giving them a little budget to spend, some money to spend while they're up there. Um, and a lot of these youth, you just have to change their environment. You know,
Right.
that is a day or 2 days. You got to get them. They have to see something different at some point. At some point, they have to see something different.
Right.
I guess I could say I learned from that because at 16 I went in the military. You know, it wasn't a great thing because I forged my mother's signature
people
to get in.
did.
But guess what?
Yeah,
It made me who I am today. Because I had structure at home, but when I got in the military at 16, I was even more structured, right?
Right.
And that's something that I instilled in my kids because my kids say, "Oh no, we got a military dad." My daughters got tired of me flipping those beds over, right? So they got tired of me up in their face hollering why this ain't done or why they ain't done. But guess what? After a couple months, they already knew the game plan. But we know to stop dad from hollering, do what
Right.
we got to do, right? That's
So
we're giving
people.
them.
So Dorian, thank you for your service. But I had a conversation with a young guy at work one time, and it was disheartening because of his answer. But I know people shy away from going to the military in fear of, I guess, going to war. I mean, there's so much opportunities in the military besides discipline, education, trades. It's a lot of things that you can learn, but the hopes is not to go to war. Of course, this young, we had an argument because he's like, no, that's what I want to do. I'm not going to join if I can't go. Like, that was his mindset,
oh, he wanted to go to war.
Yes, that was his mindset, and it was ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? That was his mindset instead of what he can get out of joining. The army, the military, the trades, the education. The discipline. and if you had to, you would stand tall and you would do your duty. But nobody, well, I thought nobody wanted to join for that reason, you
No,
know.
so his mentality was on a whole different level, right? His
Yeah.
mentality was more destructive, right? He wanted
Yes.
to go and hurt people. He wanted to go and shoot people because he know he get in the military, he gonna get certain weapons that he gonna be able to use. But at the same time, he wanted to be able to use those weapons on people and not silhouettes and targets, right? So,
Exactly.
um, so that's his mindset was already negative.
But that's the point of our youth, their mindset of like that. Even probably police officers, you know what I mean? Like, what are their mindset in coming into these different positions? You know, and
They should have a psychological examination that you have to take before,
right.
not just a physical exam, your physical fitness to make sure that you can run and do all that stuff, but a psychological exam just to assess, what's your mindset? How is your mind working? And so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm going to say, so by the time I hit 21, I remember I came home on leave, and the police department was hiring, right? And I put my application in, and I went back to military base. Then I got a letter, got accepted to the academy in Philadelphia. My third day in the police academy, I left because
Wow.
I found out the training wasn't what I went through in the military, right? And I said, you know what, this police officer thing is not for me. I went back in the military, and I went back in the military. I could have became a military police. I could have been in CID, Criminal Investigation Division, just for them 3 days of just being on the police force. But I wanted, I just wanted to learn different things while I was there. My military occupational skills, I had 7 of them. And some people thought I was, wow, you're mad. Like, you want to jump out of an airplane? I said, yes, because I need that pin on my uniform. Right? So I was more into, I guess, the good things that I was thinking about in the military. And one of the good things was if you had a uniform, you had the certain medals and you had that certain respect from everybody in the military. So, yes, I took 3 jumps out of the airplane because I needed those wings on my uniform. And that made me, everybody look, oh, sorry, oh, he's airborne, So, you had that certain clout and you had that, those certain medals on you, you got that top recognition through a lot of people through the military. But I
You
was done. I wasn't one of those gun ho ones who like, oh, I wish a war break out, you know.
Right.
And you still have that drive. You still
Right.
have the same drive about you because, like I said, you're out doing. I don't think you ever sit down.
No, well, you know what? And it's sad I don't. And it's so funny because me and Annette, we met up last week, and she was like, Dorian, where do you ever get any rest? And I had to be transparent. I said, you know what, Annette, I'm not going to lie. No, I didn't get no rest. This weekend, I don't know when the last time I had a Saturday and Sunday off. I'm not going to, Veterans Day, I did manage to go to a couple places and have a breakfast and a dinner. Um, but after that, I was back off to the races. I was back on the grind again because I feel like
Always.
Thank you. Thank you. It's people like you that we need out there that is on the front line fighting for our youth, and we just truly appreciate it. I mean,
I want you to share before you go. I want you to share the event that you're going to be doing around the holidays down at City Hall and whatever else you want to share.
yeah. So as a reading captain, this is a Read by Forbes free library initiative. It ain't for us to read to children, So my platform, I start from the babies all the way up to the youth, all the way up to adult men, right? Actually, I got a couple events coming up. I actually doing the Reading is My Superpower 6 series tomorrow. That's going to be up in the Northeast. Then December the 9th, I will be doing a Cocoa and Books literacy event. I'll make sure I get you the flyers and that, and you can share it. Every Friday in December, I will be at City Hall giving out holiday books and another book and the candy cane and hot chocolate and some other resources in a big Ziploc bag. Every year, I've been doing this for the past 6 years now. This is actually year number 6. And we give out 1,000 books within those 4 Fridays. So to this date right now, as far as literacy, this is the month of December coming up. I will have distributed close to 15,000 books a year. So
Wow.
we're doing at least 12 to 15,000 books a year. Got wagons. We pull them in the wagons. I could be to North Philly. I could be at Broad Nolly, get the table out my trunk and throw about 100 books on the table with some resources, and families will come by and pick up a book, and I make sure that they get a book, because if I see a family and they got a child and they walk with a child, I am definitely taking books over to a mom. Would you mind if I give your child a book and some resources for yourself? You know.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all that you do, Dorian. And when you share with the flyer with me, we will definitely share it
Yeah.
On our platform.
Yeah.
So continue blessing.
And
Yeah.
and every Saturday I do a read along on Zoom for kids.
Oh yes.
Three to from you be baby, because I always taught my daughters when they been carrying their babies, read to that baby while they're in your womb, right? And I guess that's why they can come out swiping like they can swipe in a phone. They definitely like to come out and hear more stories. So every Saturday I do a read along on Zoom at 1:00. It's not just me reading. I look for anyone who had a passion they want to read one Saturday to the children. I look for children. I look for children who want to read. I look for adults who want to read. I will put you on the platform, okay? So I would definitely make sure.
Yes, my
I'm waiting for my turn.
nephew. I'm trying to find a book. Yeah, my nephew has. I actually have several books of children books from people that I personally know that I can definitely come on and read.
All right.
We'll be in contact with you.
I will send Lynette all the information, all right? And I'll send you some Saturday dates. I think I'm booked up until January, till next year. So
Okay, great.
You can set a date in January, and I would definitely put you on the platform. I would definitely love to be back on Real Talk Real, okay?
Yes, real recognize real.
Real recognize real, and I make sure that I'm not scheduled for no other meetings. I work off of 6 calendars, and
I don't know, Dorian. That's impossible.
Yes, we would love to talk to you more, but yes, that you have to set time for us. Period.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Right,
thank you so much.
God bless you as well, and we'll be in touch.
Okay.
All right. Bye bye.
Right, have a great night. Yeah. So yeah, like I told you that we ain't need no hood news, because I said they're gonna have a lot to talk about.
And they still do. You know, with the time frame, you always got to cut them off, which I always feel bad about. But that's why, I love to welcome everybody back that we have had over the years on the show, just to see where they are and just continue to be a part of their success. But I personally met. Well, Frogg is a friend of my husband Tony's. Who's
shout out to Tony.
But we met Dorian at Lynette's event. Tell them about your event the other day and your nonprofit that you do, and that you bring all these great speakers to. So you guys have to follow her, and so that you know what she's doing, because like you see them here on the show, you can go in person and network and talk to these people. So let them know, Lynette.
Absolutely. So for those of you who don't know, I am the executive director, founder of the Love Exquisite Arts and Recreation Nonprofit Center, Learn Center for short. And so again, we do gun violence intervention programs and prevention programs for youth and adults. So we had an empowerment symposium at Temple University's Real Cinema Theater a while back, and Shawn was one of the speakers. Franchella, Tony was one of the speakers. Dr. Movita was one of the speakers. Dorian was one of the speakers. A gentleman who's going to come on the show in December, Guys the Guns, Mr. Tyree Lewis, was one of the speakers. So we had some dynamic speakers. We had a singer. We had a comedian, Ken Jones. Davita Cherry was the singer, and it was so much powerful people in that room with a whole lot to share. But the struggle is always getting the youth to come out. So thereafter, we had an enrichment forum with Yolanda Nelson, Hakeem Butler, and the people that keep me up, Daynette, my mom.
Yeah,
Yolanda, did a phenomenal job, and then the youth came out. So it was at the Martin Luther King Rec Center. We did little arts and crafts with them. We talked about entrepreneurship. We did a little Shark Tank. So it's a lot of different things that we're doing, and these events were free. So
they're always free. They're always
not
free.
always. Not always.
My bad.
Not always, but those events were free. So
right.
So they're community events, and if you ever look at, you can't say, I went to a meeting one time with these politicians. They were campaigning, and the young ladies in the room kept saying, it's nothing for our kids to do. And, y'all want us to stop them from engaging in violence. It's nothing else for them to do. There's a whole lot of different organizations out here. Is you just have to go get the information, because sometimes it's not readily available. Like I had to ask, how do people find out? Sometimes you got to go. Don't just look at the rec centers in your community. Go inside of the rec centers, because they have pamphlets, brochures, and all kinds of stuff about different events. There's all kind. I'm getting ready to do a financial literacy piece for them on the 28th. I think it might be the 28th. I'm getting ready to do a financial literacy piece for their youth. So we're out here is just getting the youth to come. And like Franchella said, it starts with the parents, because the kids sometimes can't bring themselves. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I could go on. So I don't know why she told me to tell y'all about that. Woo! I know. Yeah, exactly. Oh, wait, though. So while we on that, on a different note, I have 3 books. For those of you who don't know, I have a book signing coming up on November the 18th from 12 to 4 or 1 to 4. I forget. 1 to 4 at the Sharon Hill Public Library, 250 Sharon Hill in Sharon Hill, Pennsylvania. So we're going to be talking about the process of grief. We're going to be talking about love and relationships and cheating and how that dynamic works. And we're also going to talk about healing from trauma and making better life decisions as well. So come out this Saturday, Sharon Hill Public Library. But back to, I'm gonna put it on her now. I go this way. So congratulations, Franchella, and the 40-40 double Dutch.
Yeah, the 40+ double Dutch, the South Jersey Jumpers.
They just shared the anniversary.
Third year anniversary for South Jersey, when South Jersey Sub Club came about, and I joined in the very beginning. They probably were maybe less than 6 months in when I joined, so I really started with them in the beginning. Not the first one, but I did start with them in the beginning. So I'm cracking myself up, because I'm like, I came home. I like, Tony, guess what? And I got an award. I wound up getting an award for South Jersey Innovator Award. It says creator of the South Jersey Slide, recognizing her, the individual that has used her gifts and talents to create groundbreaking movements that help celebrate our women and has brought them closer together as a sub club. And they gave me this little tray with my name on it. Can you see that? It's so pretty. And this plant back here behind me. That's beautiful. So I'm like cracking up, because I'm like, I don't know about y'all. I'm sorry, but I like to be recognized, like, because I do a lot of stuff like real. I love to be recognized, and some people might, I just do it. No, I'm different. So I'm telling him, I'm like, you know what? I had to think about it, because how many talented people are out there and don't win a Grammy right away, or an Emmy, or all that other stuff, Denzel, he had to be crooked before he took it. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
Halle Berry had to be naked before she got something.
Right. So okay, it took 3 years, but I'm in the same phase as as Hollywood, So I gotta chill, wait on it. You know what I mean? Girl, please wait on it. So I'm just I'll be cracking myself up. So we even got this. A girl Keisha made this. We got so
love.
Can you see the cute? Is that cute?
And they got the people turning and somebody jumping in the middle. That is cute.
It's so cute. I have so much stuff around here that every year they give us at our anniversary, and it's just a good sisterhood, group of women coming together and playing our childhood games, from double dutch to hula hoop to line dancing, and it's a good exercise. Yeah, it really is. And so it's a lot of fun. You know, I wouldn't have it any other way, but I appreciate being recognized this year. So yeah.
And in continuation of you being recognized, Franchella is also competing to be, come on,
on the 40 and Fabulous. Okay, I can win some dollars. So I just put a post out there like, y'all are letting me down, okay? Because
well, last time I looked, you was in third place. That's what I'm saying.
No, I was first, second. I kept going first, second. But this is right now. Thursday is the last day, and it's do or die. I'm going to get kicked out if I stay in third place. So I need y'all to like share my post. Vote. I put the pictures of all the young ladies in my category who's first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. And I need y'all to bump me up to first, because this is it. If I'm not first by Thursday, I'm out of the competition. I tell people to vote for free. You know, I'm not asking anyone to make any donations, but if you make a donation, it does give me more votes. But the donations go to a worthy cause. It's for breast cancer. So your money's not just going to for votes for me, but it's going to a foundation for breast cancer. And so the end result is $40,000 cash reward and
a vacation.
Yes, a vacation, as well as a magazine, a little glam
cover. The
cover. Yeah, y'all. I need this. I need this in my life.
So we're gonna put the link, and when we post the little blurb for today's show, we're gonna put the link there. So we need all of y'all to vote, and you can vote every day. So vote, because we have up until Thursday before it's done and over.
It's a do or die, y'all. But I do appreciate, because so many, but especially my husband, my kids, my mom, and my divas. Shout out to Ritzy on. Hey, Ritzy. And of course, my beautiful co-hosts. People that I know that has been, voting for me. Jody, she called me yesterday. So people are actually voting, and I so appreciate y'all, because I felt like a pain in the behind. You know what I mean? I did. Like, I had to keep tagging people and in the comments, did you vote today? Because there were phases, and I would be annoyed. So I know people were probably being annoyed. So I apologize in advance for that, y'all. But I was determined to get the message out there. And I didn't want to quit. I came too far. I didn't want to quit. So I just kept doing it. But then, of course, I was getting flagged by Facebook. Somebody reported me. So I couldn't tag. Yeah. Wow. So I couldn't
Some hater.
Hater for sure. And who knows? They family, they might told them to go vote for somebody else. So that
you know what? It might have been one of the people that's competing too.
Yep, that's what somebody else said, but you would never know. You never know, but it is what it is. God makes no mistakes. If it's meant to be, it would be, if not, but I am still encouraging everybody to please go vote for me. And thank you in advance. Yes. But once again, a beautiful show. Thank you all for tuning in. Miss Darlene, thank you. Always on. T Love, Lorraine. I see a couple of people on here. Got Gigi on here. I saw some people up here. I gotta scroll all the way up top, but I can't get all the way over there.
Thank everybody.
Mitch. Yeah, just thank everybody. I just like to call out some names. But yeah, tune in.
That's for you.
Yeah. Every second Tuesday of the month. If you have anything going on and you want to be on our show, please get in touch with us on the RRR Talk Radio website or RRR Talk Radio at yahoo.com. And we would love to hear your stories and put you on a show and promote whatever you have going on. So thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, mwah, we love you. We out.